Good afternoon, everyone. Today we would like to take a new topic that is called to be WBS. W means work, B means breakdown, and S means structure. Normally, if you see the textbooks and people who teach this subject project management, they don't concentrate on work breakdown structure. But this is the most important thing when we consider project planning. Without this, you will not be able to judge how many activities the project will consist of and what logic they have to follow and how it has to be executed. So, when we consider civil engineering projects, all civil engineering projects are unique in nature. Unique in nature. Though the projects have a number of activities that will be repeated in many projects, but most of the projects they seem to be unique. Though some of the activities they are same, but still we call it project is a unique one because each design is different, each planning is different, and each execution will be different. So that is the reason why we consider each civil engineering project as a unique project. This project they normally requires two natural resources. These are called to be natural resources which have been given by the nature to each and every one. For example, you consider living things, non-living things, mountains, human beings, ants, or whatever you call, whatever that is existing on the face of earth. Two natural resources have been given by nature to us. You can call it as a nature or environment or God or whatever. So basically these two natural resources are given for each one, whether living or non-living alike. That means whether you use it or you don't use it. If you use it, you will get some productivity. If you don't use it, they go waste. So what are these two natural resources that environment has given to mankind or anyone else? For example, first one will be given as time. Second one will be given as energy. These are the two most important natural resources which we get free of cost for everyone alike. Time is there always, it is same for everyone. Time cannot be created nor can be destroyed. It can be destroyed but it cannot be created. That means you can spend the time and waste the time, but you cannot create 1 hour extra time for anyone. I mean, it is not available in a supermarket to go and buy time. So time exactly 24 hours means 24 hours. So this is one of the most important resource that goes into the civil engineering projects, as we have seen in CPM. In critical path method, we have taken the time and we have executed and tried to get the TPT, that is total project time, total project duration. Now second natural resource is considered to be energy. Now energy has a lot of things in that. Now energy means just not considered as only one aspect, but it will be considered as in during 5 M's. What are the 5 M's? One is money, this is manpower, materials, machinery, and management. These are the 5 issues, 5 things what we have. 5 M's are encompassed into energy. Now this energy will have money, manpower, materials, machinery, and management. So management is supposed to be the last one. Previously there used to be only 4 M's, but now as the science and development has increased and it is a lot of innovations, then it is called to be a management also. So now at the moment management has also entered into one of the 5 M's that will be under the energy. So all these M's we will be using in our projects, civil engineering project, because everyone wants money, everyone wants manpower, all the projects want material, all the projects they need machinery, and overall all the projects they need management. So here when it comes to the management, we call it as either CM, construction management, or we call it as a project management. Without this construction management, we will not be able to achieve all these 4 M's and complete the project. If you want to complete the project using these 4 M's, you need management. This management will be useful in this for planning. Once you divide a project, This project can comprise of planning, first stage, then we have scheduling, second stage, then third stage will be monitoring, then last stage will be controlling. So each project consists of 4 aspects, that is 4 stages of working. One is the planning stage, second one is the scheduling stage, third one is the monitoring stage, and fourth one is the controlling stage. All these 4, if they cannot go hand in hand, then the project will not be complete. So for completion of the project, these 5 M's are required, and out of this last M, you require all these 4, that is planning, scheduling, monitoring and controlling. So that is exactly the reason why we are going to study this project management. The reason why I will tell you one more strong reason is that if you don't have any construction management that is followed during the progress of the project, then most of the projects will get delayed and also cost escalation will come. So most importantly, we have to follow a triangle here, and that triangle will tell us time, this will be the quality, this will be the cost. Always we have to follow a triangle when we take up a project. First one will be the time, you go up maybe, then this is the cost, it will be going up, escalating, and quality should be increasing. So if we have time, cost and quality, a triangle is formed and we need to satisfy that. If you don't satisfy this one, then quality will go down. Then if the time extends, then time will extend and cost will escalate. The project will not be completed well within the stipulated time. That is the reason why construction management is a must, and it has been introduced all over India, all over world. This particular subject has been developed. That is the reason why, because we want to follow that. The main aim of this construction management or project management will be to complete all the projects well within the time and well within the cost. These are the two, of course, satisfying the quality. So if you define like this, then only the project management and its objective will be fulfilled. So we try to work out construction management and project management. And when we consider one project, say you call one civil engineering project, here you have to be a bit careful and listen, because one civil engineering project can be building a residence or building a house, maybe a ground floor, one portion or one floor. That itself, one floor or one building can be considered as a civil engineering project. That itself is one task. But it is a very huge task, because that comprises of so many different other tasks or activities. We call this task also as an activity. So one civil engineering project, it can be taken as one task. Now if you want to just give this to the engineer or workers and say that this is only one project, you do it as one task, they cannot do, because it requires certain time, it requires certain cost. It requires certain time, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 10 weeks, like that, depending upon the project, how big it is. So we cannot go for considering this particular project as one task, and we need to break it down. We need to break it down into what? Into manageable activities or manageable tasks. One project can be taken as one task is not manageable. But when we break down this project into different tasks that are similarly depending upon the logic, as we have seen in the last one, all the tasks, they have been arranged properly, and time estimates, money, manpower, material, all this, because they consume, each task will consume all this. So we need to arrange them in a logical fashion and then try to get it done. Then only the project, this particular one task is complete. But this as one task we cannot take as in toto as one activity. So we need to break down. How you can break down? Basically the building can be mostly broken down into substructure and superstructure. Basically these are again you can call these as two tasks. This is one task, these are two tasks. And we call it as substructure and we call it as a superstructure. Now what are the elements that are coming into substructure? We need to identify here. What are the elements that are going to come into the superstructure? We need to elaborate here. Like substructure, you have the footing, then foundation, then you have plinth beam, then filling back the soil. Or excavation also. From excavation you can start. So you can start by marking, excavation, then reinforcement, then footing, or you can call this as footing, then you call it as pillar columns, then we call it as plinth beam, then we call it as filling back of the earth. That all comprises in the substructure. Of course DPC, DPM, all those things are there. We will not go into that much detail. Now superstructure is mostly walling, then you have doors and windows, then slabs, then lintel beams, then roof beams. All those things will be considered under the superstructure. So each one, if you take this, it becomes a task now. Because substructure is one task, one major task. Superstructure is another major task. But substructure has so many sub tasks. These are all called to be subtasks. Now these subtasks can be called as activities, minor activities you can say. But each activity has to be manageable. Then only you can divide the project into breakdown. You can break it down into activities that are manageable by 1 week or 10 days or 5 days or like that. For example, you can ask me, one footing itself is there. Footing itself will have another so many activities involved in that. For example, it's the cleaning, then giving a cover, then reinforcement, then concreting, then curing. All these things, again there will be so many subtasks here, so many activities. So one, you can see this now, one major task of project, civil engineering, one construction of a building, it has been divided into different levels. So these are different levels. So we can call it as a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, like that. You can divide them into the activities, different activities. Then only based on the logic and based on the interdependencies of these levels or these activities, we need to form a network. That dividing them, the building, into manageable activities, logically it becomes the WBS, that is work breakdown structure. So many of the people in the textbooks and the teachers, they forget to explain the importance of WBS, because without WBS we cannot complete or attempt to take up a project at all, because you need to know all the details of everything. Then you need to first lay down the scope of work as SOW. Now in the SOW you need to make the subtasks and then try to arrange them logically, and you can even take the help of a bar chart here. You can consider a bar chart. In the bar chart you can arrange bars for each of the activity and sub activities, and then one by one we will work out. That becomes the first part of the planning for the project. Now once the planning is done, I mean the arrangement of this breakdown of the activities and arrangement them logically, then we can go for scheduling, which we have done in the previous lecture. That giving allocation timings, that is the first natural resource of time. So timing has been given here, number of days or number of months or number of hours or whatever. I mean whatever be the unit of that, the scheduling is done. Now first planning is this, the WBS, that is work breakdown structure. Then second stage you need to give timings, and third stage will be monitoring and controlling. These two are major advanced steps that I will be explaining maybe later. But scheduling, the time that is given from that, it can be any type of resource, can be energy or can be time. But initially we consider only the timing. Then we go major, once we go to the monitoring and controlling, then we need to go for manpower, material and all that, because they also need to be planned. So within a building, you don't say that just it is able to complete if you say one task, it cannot be. So it has to be divided into manageable tasks and manageable timings, it has to be given. The timing which is given in the previously, what we have given is like A activity is taking 5 days. In the last example in CPM we have taken activity A as 5 days. Now how does this 5 days will come? That is nothing but from the scheduling. So that means an engineer or a planning engineer, he will try to work out sitting on the desk that what is this activity A? Activity A can be reinforcement, footing, construction of a footing. So A he will subdivide as the stages what I have told of footing, that is maybe reinforcement, then curing, and then DPM, DPC and all that all will come under this. So once this, maybe A will be having another 5 that is A1, A2, A3, like that sub activities. So these 5 days need to be divided into this, allocated for this A1, A2, A3, A4, but total it is 5 days. So within those 5 days, all these activities should be completed. So a planning engineer, what he will do, he will try to break down the structure, the building into manageable tasks, and then for each task he will try to work out and allocate some time depending upon his experience and depending upon how many hours it will take, and he will estimate, quantify, and he will try to also work out from SOW and BOQ. So once he will prepare these two, SOW and BOQ, then he will be knowing for 5 days what all the tasks he has to do under these 5 days. Now if this 5 days is increased, that means activity A is delayed. Now if activity A is delayed, you can remember the earlier numerical problem CPM, 17 days was the completion time when activity A was having 5 days. Now if suppose activity A will take 7 days, then the whole project duration will increase to 19 days. That means 2 days it has been delayed already. So 2 days when it is delayed, the cost escalation also will occur for 2 days. So this is why we have to be very much particular in giving the timings properly. This timing, how to get this itself a big volume. How to get this 5 days? From where he will get? The thing is, the engineer will be having in his mind one particular timing. So how this timing has to be explained, I would like to take up in the next lecture, how these 5 days have been arrived at and how they have been justified in scheduling. Thank you very much for listening.